You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Bork. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
That still cracks me up. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Friday, 2nd day of March, 2018. Hope you're having a great Friday. Everybody's been working for the weekend. Well, most of us, some of us laid in bed for 2 days. It was like a fugue state. I mean, how could one human being possibly sleep, literally, for 48 hours? I don't know, but it happened. True story. Glad to have you with us on this Friday. If you are returning, welcome back. Maybe you're here for the very first time. Maybe you came to our open house today. Thank you. Be sure to take the free trial next week. Spend an entire week with us in the live training room. Use our indicators. We'll teach you our strategy. Hey, you can see if what we have is what you've been looking for. Just might be. Hey, how about those markets? If you can see the chart I have up, well, how about if you can't see the chart, go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered all the way through the end of the month. Okay? Now, this is early in the month, day 2. So that's a lot, right? You'll have one-click access the entire month. Click the big microphone on our home page on the right hand side, follow the instructions, 30 seconds, you're done. You can also go to youtube.com/CFRN/live during the show, bookmark the page, one-click access. Okay? All right. So, now that you know how to see the page, let's talk about the page. These are this week's weekly trading zones. Put them up yesterday, as I do on Thursdays. This is our lowest weekly zone for this week. We spiked it, we really spiked it, and now we're spiking it again. Now, based on historical observance, except for rare occasions, and I don't know if this is rare or not, but we'll see what happens. Based on historical observance for the last 9 years, 8.5, I think it is, 8.5 years, price will close today at $26.75 or above. But what if it doesn't? No, it doesn't. There are those rare occasions when it doesn't follow the law. All right. Now, down here in red, you'll see last week's lowest zone. I'm always telling you about the carryover effect of the weekly trading zones. Now, typically, the carryover effect, you know, Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, you know, by Wednesday, last week's zones kind of start to wane. But, I mean, I even drew a little circle. This is how close we came to last week's lowest zone after we took out this week's zone. And so, if you are a partner, you get the zones Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, before Wall Street wakes up. And once we publish them, we don't massage them, manipulate them, change them. They are carved in stone. And so if you aren't jotting these numbers down right now, well, that's up to you, I guess. But will these be of value next week? Yeah, you better believe they will be. All right. But the partners will have next week's zones Monday morning. You won't get, if you're just part of the CFRN community at large, you'll get them next Thursday as you did yesterday. All right. So what happened? We ran down. We almost tagged last week's lowest zone. We rallied back up so nicely to this week's lowest zone, and now we're just consolidating a little bit. Okay, the market's making up its mind. It's going to do one of two things. It's going to attempt to go to 27.02, or it's going to attempt to go to 26.45. In fact, let me go out on a limb here. Okay, there are very few absolutes in trading. This is about as close as you get. When you and I talk on the radio next Monday, price will have touched 02 or 45. All right? And if it's a swing and a miss on my part, I'll buy you a soda pop. Okay? Now, for those of you that happen to be in the open house or in the live training room this morning, the last time you heard my voice, I said, guys, for those of you that trade crude, it appears crude is getting ready to make a run at $61. Okay? $61. When I said that, price was at 60.60, and we had 10 minutes left in this candle. All right? Now, did I use some incredible technical analysis, thingamajig, staring at my crystal ball? No. What does price do? It goes from zone to zone to zone. And so by the time it got here, it's pretty evident, what the market, or the people driving the market, who's winning this little battle here? The buyers. So they push it right up, they push it right through, and then what happens? It pulls back to test to see if this is going to be good support. If this holds as good support, guess what? We'll take this out and we'll start heading towards 62.5. So in less than 40 minutes, I think it was about 20 minutes total, we managed to go from here to here. And if that's all you got, that's $400 per contract. If you've earned the right to trade 10 contracts, that's $4,000. Okay? You can't trade 10 contracts simply because you have money in your account that will allow you to trade that size. You have to literally earn the right. Okay? You have to earn the right. All right? I'll leave that at that. Now, let me show you a little something real quick. Oh, this thing gonna start flashing, huh? Is today a flashing day? Oh yeah, there she goes, flashing, flashing, flashing. I wish I could. If any of you computer nerds, nerdier than I am, can figure that out, well, I'd sure love you to clue me in. I just wanted to show you that. Okay, I'll tell you what. Hey, Michael, are you there?
I am.
Could you go ahead and grab it and do the recap?
Sure.
Okay, buddy. And then I'll pop back with all my clever quips and quotes.
Okay.
All right.
I got it. You might want to hit your mute button.
Yeah, I will.
All right. All right. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, the 2nd day of March, 2018. Today has been a complicated day for me. My computer was not working at all when I started out this morning. Are these price zones proprietary? Yes, they are, Jake. They are proprietary, but if you become an active CFRN partner, then you will get them every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Unless it's a holiday. Then it'll be Tuesday. Okay, and they're good for the entire week. You see, I have them right here. This is the ES. And this is on a 4-tick range. Change it to a different time frame. And you can see price is just attracted to them. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So there's a really good chance that by the end of the day, we're going to be closing above this level right here. Okay. But let me flip this back down here to a 4-tick range. Now, today, guys, I had computer problems this morning, so I don't really have a lot to go over here. Let me bring up this and which one is it? This one. Here we go. This one. Okay, now, if you have not taken the free trial, go to the home page at cfrn.net. cfrn.net. That's interesting. Anyway, go to the home page at cfrn.net, and up here at the top where it says sign up for the CFRN live training room, 100% free trial. User indicators, learn our strategy. Click here. When you click there, you will be brought to this page where all we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us. Click on that submit button. I was just looking down here. Click on that submit button and you'll be sent a confirmation link. All right? You must click on the confirmation link. If you don't click the confirmation link, well, you won't get a free trial because we don't know that you took the trial until you click that link. Okay? Tab Wrangler. All right. Now, on to the trades. We didn't do anything with gold today. Not because there wasn't anything, but because I was 45 minutes late because I had computer issues. It started out really choppy in here. It looks like there was one trade set up right here where you could have gotten the gold for the day. And then it got really choppy. Didn't give any trade setups. Then it gave another one right here, a momentum short for about 4 ticks. Then nothing. Nothing the rest of the day. Okay. The markets had just been a mess today. I was happy to get in, get my goal for the day on the first trade, and well, anyway. All right, this is the euro. Now on the euro, there was a beautiful bounce off the BBC right here, right there. Let's see, that went from 70 down to, wait, I don't know how many ticks that is. I think you could have gotten your goal for the day on that one. If you didn't get it there, you could have gotten it right here, because there was a momentum long trade right there. Okay, there was another long trade right there. So you definitely could have gotten the goal for the day in the first half hour on the euro. Continuing on though, there was another short right there. And then there was nothing during the period that I was there. There was nothing that you could do in there. But there was a long right here, a momentum long trade right there during the break. And nothing after that. It's like everybody got worn out this week. Decided to take Friday off. Crude oil. Okay, crude started out in here. Let's see. I wouldn't have done anything because I don't like the slingshot like that. Nothing in there, nothing in there. All right. Over here we had a big leg down. This was at 10:30. Now, I'm pretty sure that was, yeah, pushing in new lows right here, so I wouldn't have done anything with that either. There was a bounce up, a close up above the trend line right there for a break-even trade. I had highlighted these areas, which you can't do anything with this one. Okay, and you couldn't do anything with that one. Now we're into the break, and there's just nothing. No trade setups to be found. Okay, that was crude. It was a rough day. For me to be, if I had to pick a day to be having computer problems and be 45 minutes late, today was a perfect day for it. Hang on, I got to do this again because you see how my zones just disappeared? Let's look at a 5 minute. There we go. Okay. Now we'll come back here. 4 tick range. Here we go. Here we go. Let's back that out some. Okay. So all right. Before I got in the morning session, the ES was just moving all over the place. I don't know why, but it was. And there was a shorting opportunity right there. Changed directions, gave a long right there that was break even. Changed directions again, gave a short right here. That may have stopped out. I don't know. Changed directions again, gave a long right here. Changed directions again, gave a short right there. Changed directions again, gave a long right there. Now, when I say change directions, I mean that the MA1 is crossing the BBC. Okay, this right here, probably we wouldn't have done that because I would have been looking over here and waiting for it to get up above there. So I would have waited for this over here, and that would have been a break-even trade. Okay. I'm just going to go to where I actually did. Okay, when I got in, finally, right in here, I got in. In my first trade, I took 8 ticks profit. That got us the goal for the day. All right, so 4 out of 5 days this week, I got the goal for the day on the first trade. Right here, we got 2 more ticks to put us at plus 10. And then we stopped out pretty much to the tick right there. And then it went down and did what it should have done. Okay. Let's see. I'm just looking at the slingshot down here. It's not giving us any trade opportunities in here. Okay. We had this huge leg up right there as we're closing out the morning session. There was a long there and there. Then we changed directions. Possible short there. change directions again. And it wasn't giving us anything. You're going into the zone here, so you're not going to do anything on the long side going into the zone. And it's in the zone right now. So it's kind of a mess. Kind of a mess in there. Now, market I haven't looked at in a little while since Dwayne's not back yet. Cut him a little slack here. And market we haven't looked at in a little while.
I'm back.
Russell.
I didn't know you were looking for me.
Oh, no. Well, I hadn't yet.
Oh, okay.
I usually when you come back, usually you turn your mic on.
It only takes so long to strangle 7 dogs, so I'm officially a cat person now. I'll be burying them this afternoon. There'll be a memorial service this afternoon in America's largest city park, in case anybody wants to attend.
Yeah.
Carry
I
on.
have 5 cats.
As you were. Keep rolling.
I never thought I'd be a cat person, but
Well, it just dawned on me. My daughter has a cat, and the cat has never once interrupted my radio program. My our award-winning radio program.
yes.
Anyway, carry on.
Okay. Well, I was just going to take a peek at the Russell here this morning and see how it did. Gave a beautiful shot off the BBC short off the BBC right there. Every now and then that Boston accent comes out. Wow. Then it was all over the place. I'm glad I didn't try to trade that this morning. I mean, we have one partner that only trades the Russell, and he got his goal for the day today. So if he could do it, I could do it, I think. Fuad, are you in here? I don't know if he's in here. Did he come to the
He
afternoon
probably
session?
is, and I got to tell you something. For someone who does not live in the United States, he is he is so well versed in American culture, and I mean, from TV to the markets to you name it, it's amazing, absolutely amazing.
It is.
He lives in,
It is.
I think he said Borneo, one day on the show.
Yeah, I think that's where he said Borneo. Fuad is his name, Joan. All right. Well, with that, guys, let's bring it back over here. If you have not taken the free trial, sign up for the free trial. Right up here at the top, go to the homepage at CFRN.net. It says sign up for the CFRN live training room. 100% free trial. User indicators, learn a strategy. Click here. When you click there, you'll be brought to this page. On this page, you just need to put in your email, your first name, and how you found us, and hit the submit button. Okay? That's it. That's all you gotta do. Well, no, that's not all you gotta do.
Scroll
Then
up
you're gonna
and
be sent
show
a confirmation link.
what the top of that page says. Scroll up.
Okay.
Tired of gambling? You go long and the market goes short again and again and again. It's no accident. We know why that happens, and we'll teach you why, so you don't have to be a victim. You don't have to play the victim card anymore.
That's right.
You can play the victor card, not the victim.
That's where you want to be.
That's good. I should write that down.
That's the side of the fence you want to be on. Yeah, but that's all we need. Well, actually, no, then you're going to be sent a confirmation link. And then we'll send you all the information you need. Because we don't know you took the free trial until you hit that confirmation link. Okay?
And if you don't get the confirmation link, that means you've taken the trial one too many times. So email us, support@cfrn.net. State your case, dentist, sickness, whatever, and we're pretty reasonable. And if you haven't already taken it 5 times or 3, we'll cut you some slack. Just come in through the front door. No backdoor stuff.
Yes.
We track by IP address and all that stuff.
We do track IP addresses, so we do know if you've come many times. Just taking the trial.
We've been known to let it go a time or two.
Yes.
If you seem genuinely interested, if you're there to, I'm going to tell you something. If you're there just to hear somebody call trades so that you can try to, emulate them, and get some ticks or some points, and at the end of the day call yourself a trader, man, you're just fooling yourself. You're not fooling anybody else. Please don't do that.
That does not make you a trader.
No. The core of trading is knowing when to go long, when to go short, and when to stay out. Mimicking someone else when they click their mouse, that's not even close to becoming a trader. Really what it does is it frustrates the heck out of you. Carry on.
Yes. Okay.
Back to you, caller.
Back to me. All right. The spreadsheet. One more time on the spreadsheet. If you're gonna read it, you gotta read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 2nd day of March. Oh gosh, it's my dad's birthday in a couple of days. Okay, and it just occurred to me.
Thanks for sharing.
Yes.
What do y'all want to get him?
You know what? I don't know. It's his birthday this weekend. I don't know. I'll figure something out. And he doesn't know I'm engaged yet. So
Get him one of them singing telegrams. You know, the adult ones. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Yeah. I don't even know what his address is now. Yeah, because he's in a different place. You know, he moves to Florida for the winter, and he's in a different place this year than he was last year.
Just Google him. Google knows everything.
Yeah, I guess. All right. So today we made 2 ticks on the ES, guys. We had gotten the goal for the day, and then we gave it back. Well, we had gotten the goal for the day plus 2 ticks, and then we gave back 8 ticks when we stopped out. But it took us, I'm saying 63 minutes, even though I was 45 minutes late. So it was really only about 15 minutes or 18 minutes to get the goal for the day. We got it on the first trade. Again, this is 4 out of 5 days this week. I got it on the first trade. Yesterday kind of messed up. And we only took a total of 3 trades today. So on the month now, we're up 155 over 2 days, averaging 77 per day. And on the year, we're up 7,520. That's over 39 days, averaging 192 per day. Averaging 192 per day. Okay? And that's it. With that, guys, I am going to pass it back out to Studio A in fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park.
Okay, that's my cue to take the charts.
Yes.
And it's also my cue to go recap of the recap.
Recap of the recap today. 1 trade, 63 minutes, $100 per contract.
Say it again, Sam.
1 trade, 63 minutes, $100 per contract.
Smoking. And he was late.
I was late.
But I gotta say, he did make up for being late by leaving early. So that was big.
Hey, now, I did not leave early.
I know.
I even stayed later than I normally do.
Hey, I see something in the chat box. Have you looked in there?
Let me go take a peek. No, well, in...
These
yeah,
zones,
no, it's all good. Yeah,
these price zones
proprietary.
are proprietary. Yes, Jake, they are.
And Joan was asking about Fuad.
Okay. Now, Jake, our CFRN partners, they get the zones every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern via email, along with the link for the training room for the week and the password and all that kind of stuff. So, if you'd like to put them to work in your trading account, become a partner. Take the trial. Apply.cfrn.net, just like Michael showed you. Okay.
Yes. Yes. That's all
right.
you need to do.
I want to try something because, you know, we're both using the same interface. We're both using the Chrome browser, but mine flashes and yours doesn't.
Correct.
Let's see if Firefox flashes.
Okay.
Because I am now using Firefox for an undisclosed reason. Oh, I think I disclosed it last night. Okay, are we flashing?
You are not flashing.
Not. See, I don't think it's the browser. I think it's one of the tabs I have open.
Well, I have 44 tabs open.
Okay, but
And-
but you don't have
and
the
mine
same.
doesn't
But you don't have the same tabs I have open. What I was going to show
Right.
you guys earlier, if you go to our website, cryptodailyinfo.com, not only will you get the latest in all the crypto news, you can click here and you can chat with anyone across our entire family of sites. That would be Christian Traders. I haven't plugged CFRN yet. CT Global Media, Crypto Daily Info. I'm forgetting one. Anyway, I'll think of it in a minute. Also, if you want to listen to CFRN Radio while you're here, all you got to do is click. We have been streaming 24/7 since 2005. That's a pretty long time. And if my guy is over his sore throat, you will catch a fresh episode of The Mind of a Trader every single day. Right? You with me? That's pretty cool stuff. Okay. Now, let me find what I wanted to share with you. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Not that one. Jeffrey Gunlack. Yep. This is the one. Tell us, Jeff. If you want to know where stocks are going next, watch Bitcoin. Has Bitcoin actually become the engine that drives Wall Street? You think? Now, wouldn't that be the tail wagging the dog? Strangely, Bitcoin seems to be the poster child for social mood and market mood. That was on CNBC's halftime report. Stocks are going to take another tumble. I think it would be preceded by a Bitcoin decline. Stock market volatility was reawakened from its dormant state earlier this month, with the major averages briefly dipping into correction territory. So, I wanted to share that with you. I want to make sure you're all aware of this site. I also want to speak to everyone who participated in the pre-sale, Christian Traders pre-sale. Last night in the Partners Workshop, I was able to get some wallet addresses that I did not have, or clear up a few things. But there are still a number of you out there who have not sent us your wallet address. It would tickle me to no end if we could get them all transferred this weekend. I mean, I would be a happy camper, all right? So what do you say? I was sick 2 days this week, still not feeling 100%, but bring some joy into my life. Send your dang wallet address so we can put your tokens in there and we can get on with the program, all right? Because I'm telling you, man, the stuff that's going on around the world, one day you read the headlines and it's like, crypto, oh yeah, it was cool while it lasted. It's, it's dead now. And then the next day, you open up the headlines at cryptodailyinfo.com or any other place, and fork of a fork. We will be going live on the exchange, God willing, by Monday. Actually, it'll happen over the weekend, and those who are in the know will know. I'm just scanning down here at some of the overwhelming Mexican lawmakers. This is one of the ones I was looking for. Oh, I told you yesterday, the Louisiana governor fired the entire IT staff because they were mining crypto on the government computers. So who's running Louisiana now? I mean, do they go and pick some people up over day labor? Is that how they do that?
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah. They go out to the corner and grab
Right.
the guys with the sign.
All the guys standing around with a laptop under their arm. Yeah, jump in. We got work.
Hey,
Lawmakers in
John's
Mexico.
up there, by the way.
Okay, John, I'll open your mic in 1 second. Lawmakers in Mexico have reportedly advanced a bill that was drafted to regulate fintech, including cryptocurrencies, in the country. According to Reuters, the bill was passed by Mexico's Chamber of Deputies, the lower house of its legislature, on Thursday, and currently is pending signature from Mexico's President Enrique Peña Nieto before it goes into effect as law. The framework aims to set out that cryptocurrencies are not legal tender in Mexico, a stance in line with comments from the country's central bank in early 2017. The bill also seeks to put the operation of cryptocurrency exchanges under oversight of the country's central bank. So they're going to centralize the decentralized stuff. The Reuters report, though, indicates that the bill, drafted in general terms, will also see further development of a secondary law by other financial regulators, such as Mexico's Securities Commission, the central bank, and the finance ministry in the coming months. The changes are expected to bring rules on activities such as fundraising by cryptocurrency firms. And we are racing at breakneck speed against the SEC because, I'm telling you, there's some heavy-handed laws coming down. And I'm leaning on the side that they legally can't make it retroactive. So that's why we should be free trading this weekend. That's what I'm up against and trying to get well. Okay. Now hang on. What's this from Frederick? AOL is still down for thousands of subscribers. I'm one of them. You mentioned something in the trading room about a quick meeting this afternoon for token holders. Michael, are you available at all this afternoon? Are you still there? He's on the phone. All right, let me open John's mic. I'm coming, John. Hey, John, welcome to the show.
Hi there. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Good to have you with us.
I was going to say, I was just looking at that Bitcoin, and quite interesting because it did bottom before the stock market. I think bottom on February the 5th, and it rose up to 11, so it went up 5 approximately from 6 to 11, just to about 11. Pull back to 9, just under 10, right? So we should go up to about 15 from here on the Bitcoin, and I think that the market, which has certainly surprised 99% of traders today, has gone up from the open, really from that early test. As a matter of fact, Mike emailed me a while ago or messaged me and thought that there was good support down at the bottom, and I agreed with him, and it was a good call because the market certainly looked like it was going to crater this morning, and the VIXs did go to a new high. We sold the VXX at 50. It's now at 46.60, so I feel pretty good about that. And we've traded in and out a few times with these, very volatile conditions.
Look at this hourly chart. Can you see this? Can you see this chart I have up right now?
Hold on a second. Yeah,
that's
okay.
the hourly. Okay, I had the daily up earlier, but that's hourly. That's not looking so bad.
No, it isn't. If it starts getting above 11.20, but you can see it if you go to the 3-month chart, you can see the 3-wave structure. So I see this thing rallying up to about 15. Then after that, it could have some problems. Or if it takes out 15, it's in a whole new bull market. And the interesting thing is, it's a little bit like the stock market. Look, we've still got to get through the weekend, and we've got to get through the afternoon without going down. But the fact that we're positive now on 4 out of 5, or 5 out of 6 of the major indices, and the Dow's come from being down 300 or 400 to 145. I mean, and I got a fantastic buy signal on the Dow this morning. And everything just about, and it's really sort of manifesting itself very, very strongly here right now. I expect an acceleration to the upside this afternoon, and that should kind of negate the downside risk of next week, unless we have some sort of bombshell that comes out over the weekend, which you can't rule out. But the market going up on supposedly bad news that all the media has been bellowing out about this trade deal, and the fact that the market's going up now, not just on the trade deal, but post the testimony of the Fed chief. I think anybody who's got half a brain is going to realize that this guy is really in control of the Fed in a way that probably hasn't been for a very long time. I think he might be.
You're talking about the new guy?
Yeah.
Okay. So you like the new guy?
I sure do. Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Well, tell me a little bit about that, because I've heard some negative comments, in different places. But tell me what you think.
Well, he sounds like he's when Yellen gave her first talk, she was pretty what's the word, intimidated, I guess, and took a while to get her sea legs. This guy is, I think he's in, I think he had a baptism by fire, but he's certainly come through it pretty well, given the way the market's going up right now. And the fact that we didn't go down as badly as I thought we might, and I actually wrote about this last night, I sort of had said there were 3 outcomes. And I said the best outcome will be obviously straight up from here. We didn't get that. I said the second best will be go down and retest the lows and then go up. And that's what we're doing right now. And I said the worst case scenario is we go down and we have another 87 type weekend. But the fact that this is being nipped in the bud, and I did emphasize the upside surprise. I said, don't be surprised if this market turns up late. And really nips this thing in the bud, because the real thing is these trade things are kind of bullish for America. Now the other thing is yesterday we had a great day yesterday, because I think right after being on the show, the gold was down big, and I can't remember if I talked about it yesterday, but I did say that I thought the lows were in early in the day, like actually right about the opening. We went down, tested a bit more, and it was a bit extreme, but we really nailed the gold and silver in a huge way yesterday on we got virtually the lows of I follow the key gold stocks and the JNUG and the Nugget, and we got the lows on all of them, and we had a terrific rally, and then we sold the highs yesterday afternoon or this morning as well, and now I'm kind of going back in a buy mode, because the trade tariffs, the tariff thing is actually the beginning of bringing inflation back to the U.S. because it's like it's not a big deal, but this steel guy was saying car uses a ton of steel. This is going to make steel about $160 more expensive per ton. So cars are going to be a little bit more expensive. They're not going to be prohibitively expensive, but they're going to add, a little bit here and there, and everything, from drinking a can of beer to whatever else aluminium and steel are going to be used for is going to involve, somewhat of an increase, a fairly, a limited increase in almost everything, but it's going to be inflationary. On top of that, we had a massive rally in the grains yesterday. And by the way, we sold them this morning right at the highs. I would probably be buying them back here right now. And they've had a bit of a pullback, but every pullback is getting bought. And the same, so anyway, the gold shot up went from minus 12 to plus 12 or even higher, plus 20 this morning or so. And I did say that, don't rule out a pullback, or we could even get a test of the lows, but I think the fact that we started out the month with a big reversal, a big positive reversal, was a very good thing. And, in a way, we've kind of had an early test of the month here in the stock market, which is accelerating to the upside right now. I mean, we're not that far from being positive on the Dow, which is, look, to go from minus 300 points to plus is something we haven't done in a while on this Dow, and that is just a massively bullish development. So whatever's going on at the Fed, just tell it. Look, I'm just telling you, smart money on Wall Street is betting on this Fed chair right away. He's had a baptism by fire, and people like him. They like what he's about, and the market's telling you today that they've got confidence in this guy. So that's my read of it.
Okay.
And
all right, that's good, because when he made those comments the other day, he said, "I don't care how volatile the markets get, it's not going to sway how I raise interest rates." But that's good. But that's good because unfortunately, you have to pay attention to what the loony types are talking about when there's fear of raising rates and all that, because rates are going to cause volatility, and we've seen that. But I'm telling you, the fact that this market did not break down to a lower low, at least yet, on a kind of a comparison with 87, actually bodes more bullish for the market. If this is the 87, if what we had in April, May of 87 has come early, February and March, and this is all there is, we're going to go dramatically higher from here on out. And if whether it's a Goldilocks 2 to 3% growth, or if growth accelerates, these the next time Google comes out and Amazon that comes out and they beat earnings, those stocks are going to go higher. And there's a lot of stocks that are going to go higher. There's stocks making new highs today. I mean, Apple is probably making a new high, or it's very close to a new high already. So we're not in a bear market. This is just a correction. And we're in one of the greatest bull markets of all time. And when you get a correction, the smart money goes in and buys these corrections. So this is, and actually we have a very dynamic bottom developing on a lot of stocks and a lot of markets. And I've been testing some stuff out here in the last few days that kind of find a perfect time frame to really get the measure of this, so I can react pretty quickly. And each of these bottoms that we've had in the last few days have come in just absolutely outstandingly, and have enabled me to pick a number of stocks. I can almost see stocks that are going to go up quickly just by looking at them this morning when they opened up. I mean, yesterday Twitter was up on the day when we were down on the market, and it took off this morning, and it's going higher. Maxim, same thing, was acting very well yesterday. In other words, you're saying stocks that are swimming against the tide?
Yeah, you got to go with them. And right now, Intercept, which is a favorite. I noticed this morning Intercept was acting very well, and it didn't really go down much like the other stocks, and it turned real quick. And look, Nvidia is a very hard stock to trade, but it gave, it sort of gave a buy signal this morning, and when the market's down 300 points, it's hard to take those buy signals, because you don't want to get your head handed to you, and but it worked. So I am really ecstatic about what the stuff that I've been doing here, and how well it's been working recently, and able to handle these markets. As a matter of fact, the LABU, which was looking a bit dodgy yesterday, kind of worried me a bit. It turned this morning, and it's really looking very, very bullish, this LABU right now. And look at Intercept. It's up about $3 on the day, which is...
what's the Intercept symbol?
ICPT.
I see. PT. Intercept Pharmaceuticals. Okay, yeah. Let's have a look, see. Okay, let me take that. I've got that on the monthly chart. Let me put it back on a daily.
And Twitter, to be honest with you, Twitter looks very bullish to me, and could, the stock had, it went up.
That's a strong day. Look at that. That's a daily candle, guys, on Intercept.
It sure is.
If we take this out, we should see $70.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that. But it could even go further. I tell you, if we see 70, this thing probably go to 100 because it's long overdue for a rally. And this has been an incredible performer in the past. It's one of the greatest performing stocks of all time. This stock, there's never been anything like it. In terms of the time, in terms of performing in time, it went from, like teens to $400 or $500, $450, somewhere like that, in a very, very short space of time. The Twitter, they had two things that happened at Twitter. There was when it was down at 22, something happened, and it had a really big day. And then it had something, and then the earnings came out and surprised everybody. And
this gap here, is that earnings?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, it's you can see that sideways motion. When it starts breaking out of this formation.
Well, I mean, look at this. Okay, look at this candle. Everything you see here is inside. I mean, you inside after inside. I mean, you haven't broken this high. You haven't broken this low. So
yeah.
And thing's coiling up. When it does break, boy, look out.
Yeah, put up Maxim, Dwayne. Take a look at that because it's sort of the same thing. It didn't break down.
MXIM. MXIM.
Yeah. See, it's
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
same sort of thing.
It dipped a little below that candle, but just sideways.
But you see how it never took the lows of January. See that, in the crash of February, it never. Right. That's kind of a positive, and it kind of looks a little bit dynamic now because if you see a sudden breakup above 62, this thing could really rock. It could really go. And by the way, there's been a few takeovers. There was a takeover yesterday. It was a chip company, and there was one a few days ago. So the chip sector, and look at the SOX semiconductors are acting extremely well. So,
did you hear me read Jeffrey Gundlach's statement earlier?
I did. That's what I commented on the Bitcoin earlier on. Okay. So, look, lumber, believe it or not, is down 4 days, limit down. God, I haven't seen that that's extremely rare. 4 days, limit down. That's actually the opposite of what happened in.
What I don't think I can pull that up, but what symbol do you use?
LBK 8, I guess. But the 4 days in a row, it hasn't done. It hasn't.
Lumber futures.
There's not many things that go limit 4 days in a row, and by the way, we sold it right up at the high, so we're looking at that. That's that's a $6,000 move per contract.
Here we go, lumber futures. Look at that.
Yeah. So and given the way we're lock limit down, the odds of going lower Monday are pretty high, but it's probably going to reverse somewhere around this 4.
Now, for those who might not be familiar with the term, John, locked limit down, can you explain that and what sort of financial pressure are people feeling who were long lumber when this happened?
They're in all kinds of trouble because you
can't get out.
Exactly, you can't get out. Literally, you cannot get out. And if you catch a limit move the right way, the thing about limits, it's kind of like buying new highs. It's tough to do, when the thing goes limit up, but you got to understand. It's actually, the Intercept Pharmaceuticals was a good example of an extraordinary event happening. I can still remember it, and my mind is so vivid. We were about $60 a share. 58 even, I think it was, when this happened, and I think it was a Friday, but it was above 100. I mean, it went. I think it after hours, it was over 100 in a flash, right? And next thing you know, I was telling people to buy it, and I think it finished up 200 that day, something like that, something absolutely incredible. And then it went on to 400 about 450. So, when you see something, as big as that, so the whole point is, when the whole world is, first of all, there's people short intercept when that happens, who are desperate to get out, right? And they and like anybody, they think it's going to pull back, and it doesn't pull back, and all the shorts have to eventually get out because they're going to get killed if they don't. I think I told you that story. I'll just say it again. We were very bullish on BlackBerry, the early days, the precursor of BlackBerry, when it was even in the teens. And then one day, a fellow I knew called me, and he was short this stock from way lower. It was about 60, and he said, "What should I do?" And I said, "Cover immediately." I said, "We've been long this stock for a while, and I think it's going much higher." And it went up to 80. It was actually traded between 60 and 80, and they had some misses and things happen to them while we're in this range. And then one day, the stock jumped from from $80 to over 100. That day, it was a Friday as well, and I'll never forget this. On Friday night, I was watching this Fast Money show, and every one of these people on Fast Money said, "Oh, sell it, short it, it's not going anywhere." And I'm thinking to myself, what's going on with these guys? They're out of their minds, because, what really happened that day was you had a 4 billion or a huge multi-billion increase in stock value. In other words, the whole world was trying to buy this BlackBerry stock, and it's the same as limit up. When a futures contract is limit up, everybody wants to buy it. So you should get over the fear of buying up at a new high or something, because if the whole world's buying it, the chances of you going limit up the next day is pretty high, actually. And that's sort of what happens in these situations, especially when you break big numbers like 100. So we actually call this one, it's very similar to NVIDIA, went up to 120, we sold it at 120, came back down to 100, bought it again, and went to 120, down again. That's almost exactly what NVIDIA did. And then after that, it really took off. And, we wrote a thing, I wrote this long article, and that very Friday, I put, believe it or not, I put up to $450, $500 target on this stock. And guess what? I got all the way to 450. 458 was the high, and we actually sold it up around, I think we sold it at 438, somewhere like that. And then that was the beginning of the downturn from the 2007 highs. But that's one of my hallmark recommendations of all time. And at $250, Citigroup initiated coverage on it. So how about that? They were a bit late to the game.
Yeah, nice call. Nice call.
Right. So this is anytime you see really extreme moves going on that are similar to limit moves, you have to go for them. You have to go with them. And by the way, the cocoa is just, remember I said this is a bull market, this is an emerging bull market, and I said the same thing about the grains. Cocoa, look at it today, 2,300 a short while ago. It's 2305 right now, but it got to 2335, 2340. The swings are getting bigger right now, but something's going on with cocoa for sure. It's
and what would that something be? Weather, labor?
Probably weather. Yeah, there's either war or weather because of this African place. There's a lot of violence over there, and there's probably a lot of mafia controlling this cocoa market and things like that.
I can think of no better person to ask this question. As I was driving my son to school today, we were listening to the National People's Radio, NPR, and they were talking about they had captured some Guatemalan war criminal. Now, it just so happens that my son, who I think most of the audience knows, my wife and I adopted him and his sister a number of years ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Gabriel, yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. Anyway, his birth father is from Guatemala. They've never met each other. He was imprisoned and then deported when he got out of prison. But anyhow, I never heard of Guatemala even being in a war. So when they say this guy was a Guatemalan war criminal, would it be like a civil war?
No, no, it's like cartels down there. Guatemala is a very dangerous country.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's there's a lot of violence. There's terrible things happen there every day. You really got to have your wits about. We've got some relatives down there on my wife's side, going back over centuries. They're actually Europeans that emigrated to Guatemala, and they're quite high in the echelons down there. They're very high up people. They're sort of creme de la creme.
What's their economy like there?
Well, actually, these people they import aircraft and helicopters and things like that into the country. So they got a whole string of businesses and things. But one of their sons was kidnapped and killed, and he was carjacked, actually, I think. So it can affect everybody in the country.
Are Americans allowed to travel there?
Yeah. There's no look. It's.
I don't think Gabe wants to see his. I don't think he wants to meet his birth father, but I think he might like someday to see his. The land where his genes came from.
Well, it's pretty. It's very. The poverty is bad there, but they just discovered a huge Aztec city under the ground that's been uncovered.
Oh, really?
And there's a lot of cultures in the country.
Right.
So, and maybe I think they're gradually getting the upper hand. But the whole problem with Guatemala, Nicaragua, Salvador, all these countries is the MS-13 and the crime gangs and things like that. So it's a big problem throughout anywhere south of the border. It really is a big problem. So, as far as the market's concerned, we're in spite of the fact that we're positive today, we're starting to threaten to go negative again. We just went negative, and this is the problem. You get sort of carried away with the rally, and we're still on a Friday, and something came up a while ago that looks like it's knocking the markets down, and the VIXs are going back up again. So this is what I was kind of worrying about might happen late in the day today. So this it is, because if you look at one of these stocks that I mentioned to you, actually was Maxim. It looked like I had it's like a three-wave rally, and I sneaked. Yeah, if you look at Maxim, it bottomed at 60 yesterday. It ran up, came down, and it ran up to 61.30 today, and that's sort of like a three-wave rally. So it's potentially still bearish, and it could come down and test this. Could test the 60 again, or could be worse if this thing rolls over this afternoon and dashes everybody's hopes that we've turned the corner.
Okay, this is Maxim on an hourly.
Yeah, so
really need to get above that 61.50.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. But look, it's this is the problem with trying to hold stocks that might get taken over, like Twitter or Maxim. When they start going down, it's tough to hold them. So, but you never know.
Who do you see as most probable to take over Twitter? Microsoft?
By the way, Google, you remember I actually had Google as part of my candidate buyout for Maxim, and I didn't even know this, but there's Maxim has got some speakers. They've developed some speakers that are very highly dynamic speakers, and apparently are very good for things like when you speak to your car or you speak to your phone and things like that, and it's got apparently very good pronunciation, word pronunciation and stuff. It's very clear, and this is a potentially very big business, because if they've got something really good, it could find its way into a lot of devices. So it actually makes somebody like Google, even with automatic, with artificial intelligence cars and everything, Maxim could really be a really interesting company for them to pick up, or Apple for that matter.
There was an article this morning out about the company Real Laboratories. Am I saying that right? Back in the 90s and early 2000s, it was the sound card in every PC. Was it Real? R-E-A-L? Let's see. Real Laboratories. No, that's not it. Somebody help. Oh, Creative. Really? How in the world did I come up with Creative Labs? They've just come out. Okay, you're right. Thank you so much, Jake. Appreciate that. They're the guys who brought a Sound Blaster. It was in every PC during the 90s and into the 2000s. They came out today. There was an article out today. I don't know if I'll find it right here. February 28th. No, I don't think that's it. The thing they came out with, it's a dongle that, you know how people, the Beats headphones, people pay this, incredible sums of money for earbuds and whatnot. This is not the thing I saw the article on this morning, so we'll scratch that for now. But they've come out with a thing that it doesn't matter what kind of headphones you got or earbuds. If you plug the dongle into your computer and plug your headphones into the dongle, it creates a Dolby sound sensation that, the guy writing the article just couldn't say enough good things. Now, keep in mind, it's been 20 years since Creative has brought a product to market that, turned any heads. They were the first to the game, and in 20 years, nothing spectacular, while everybody else was doing stuff. But this is going to be a game changer. They say the dongle costs $150.
Wow.
Maybe I can bring it up. Creative Labs new. Nope, it's none of them because it costs $150. Here it is right here. Super X-Fi. It's because of the chip that's in it. As good as the real thing. In other words, what they're bragging about, the guy writing the article, is with most headphones and earbuds, it sounds as if the sound is trapped inside of your head. But these make it sound as if you're not even wearing headphones or earbuds. The room fills up with the sound. So it seems. Produces music of the purest fidelity, the holy grail of audio.
That's pretty good.
I might just save up my egg money and get me some of them. Or let my wife know I would like it for Christmas. How the magic works. Anybody, you guys saw how I got there. Just Creative Labs, new dongle, Super X-Fi, that'll bring it up. Audio holography. A hologram for the ears. Cool stuff. Look at these soybeans, John. Last night we said on the alerts, on the email that went out, consider buying 1070. And we first ran up to 1079.75 before we had a pullback, ultimately putting in a high up at 1082. And then we sold off. And we just punched through 1070 again, and this last time we only made it to 1072. But that's $50 a point, guys, which is exactly the same as the S&P. 4 ticks to a point, $12.50 per tick, $50 per point. And that was sleeping in your inbox last night if you didn't open it. So, giddy up. What else you want to talk about? Anything?
think that...
Did you hear me talking about the Mexican cryptocurrency law? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I did. Actually, I just wanted to mention a couple of things about Mexico.
Go ahead.
Because I monitor quite a lot of stuff in the country, and what Trump is going on about, Mexico, everything's going gangbusters in Mexico. The leading party, I think the president of Mexico is actually really, he certainly gets an A for effort, because he's always doing something almost every day, kind of like Trump. And he's really worked hard to kind of get the economy going. And he's actually succeeded beyond any other previous president. But he's way down in the popularity polls, mainly because of the security situation. And perhaps because he's sort of being intimidated by Trump to a large degree as well. But he's coming to the end of a 6-year term, and they've created more jobs. By the end of the 6-year term, they're going to be hitting 4 million employees for the 6 years. And remember, they're only a third the size of the U.S. So if you multiply that out, that's 12 million for 6 years. That's a pretty high rate, comparing it with the U.S. Right? So they're creating more jobs at a faster rate than the U.S. has for a long, long time. And as I've mentioned before, they have 8 million manufacturing jobs in Mexico versus 12 million in the U.S. But again, the country's only a third of the size. And so that equals 24 million, on a comparative basis. And moreover, when you consider the economy's, almost 1/20th the size of the U.S., literally today, their economic performance is staggering. When you measure it on that basis, of the economy, the size of the economy in terms of job creation. I mean, if you multiplied it out 20 times, it'd be unbelievable. So he's really done an incredible job. And unemployment has been as low as 3.4% during one of the months last year, or even 3.3, which is extraordinary. So, and that's one of the reasons why the immigration from Mexico has pretty much dried up. And actually, quite a lot of people, there's a lot of people being deported. But there's also a lot of people who are going back to Mexico because they see opportunity. So it's, there is really hardly any Mexican immigration these days. It's all coming from Latin America and the rest of the world through Mexico. That's the problem.
Now, these folks that have to make this trek all the way up through Mexico to get to the U.S., or is Mexico becoming a migration destination?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so
I mean,
like somebody in South America, where they would used to try to get to the U.S., maybe now just getting to Mexico is good enough.
No, they haven't got that. No, they still want to go to the U.S. The people, the transients, they haven't. Well, look, a lot of times they get odd jobs, so to survive when they're transiting the country. They can pick up jobs here and there, and there is demand, for people. So, from that standpoint, most of the people want to go to the, virtually everybody wants to go to the U.S. except perhaps.
John, I mean, I listen to a lot of NPR, National People's Radio, and the other day I was listening to one of my favorite programs, which is called This American Life. And they were out at one of these chicken processing plants. And they were interviewing all of the undocumented workers and hearing their story and all that type of thing. And obviously at these chicken processing plants in America that hire the undocumented workers, they don't pay them a whole lot. But one of the guys they interviewed said back home, he had a huge ranch and all kind of people that worked for him. And he was up here working at a chicken processing plant, sending except what he needed to eat every day. He was sending all that money back home, and he was supporting his family and all that stuff. Is that possible?
Say that again?
It was on. Okay. the undocumented worker from Mexico working at an American chicken processing plant said that back in Mexico, he owns a huge ranch, has ranch hands, has horses, has a family, and they're all doing good because he sends all of his paycheck back to them. And his paycheck can't be very big.
Well, cumulatively, it probably is. That's the whole thing. You know, when you got a lot of family sending money back, it makes a big difference because, I mean, look, Trump mentioned it the other day. You know, there's 25 billion coming back every year. When this has been going on for 30 years, so it's it's about 250 billion, and then the trade differential is right now 60 or so. So you multiply that out since NAFTA started. It's been growing, so it's not, but it still represents, it's about half $1 trillion. That's really helped. It's just like all the money flowing into China has helped China grow. You know, a lot of the money flowing back to Mexico has helped Mexico to grow. So at the end of the day, look, the one good thing is that out of all of Latin America, Mexico's got virtually the highest per capita income. And in some of the cities like Monterrey, which is an industrial city, the per capita income is almost the same as the U.S. It's about 40 or 50,000. It's at least 40,000 I think in Monterrey, which is close to what the U.S. is. And in some pockets it's even higher. So and in time that's likely to go, to become more in line with the U.S. or could even exceed it. I mean, remember, look at the staggering thing that I keep just shake my head when I hear it is Ireland, little old Ireland. I mean, talk about standing on the street corner. I can't get it out of my mind.
It's the leprechauns. That's what it is.
When I was there in '84, which was the bottom of the recession, the worst. It was the worst of the worst, and there was a lot of unemployment and people propping up buildings on the street corner looking for work. To be transformed from what was then the situation to what Ireland is now. It's about the 5th richest country in the world. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. It's staggering. Ireland's GDP, per capita income is about $80,000 a person. $80,000 a person. And Britain is about
$80,000 per person, not per household, per person.
Per person, yeah, and Britain is about 42. Britain's poverty-stricken compared to Ireland today.
My.
And
what does a house go for there?
Well, they're expensive. They're very expensive. Okay. And the amazing thing is they're projecting that Ireland could be either 3rd or 2nd richest country in the world within a couple of years. Now, there's some interesting projections coming out on Mexico. They're saying that Mexican economy, in the next 5 or 10 years, could be bigger than France. Could grow to being about the 5th largest economy on Earth. So that's really going to be a game changer when that happens, if it happens, and I think it probably will.
2 comments from the chat box. Joan gave me a link, which I'll share with the audience. From the Daily Caller, and it says Mexican immigrants frantically send money back across the border before Trump builds wall. Well, I mean, the money doesn't travel. I mean, the money travels electronically, so I don't know. Tell me, Joan, how the wall stops that. And then Jim, truly stunning how they call Vice President Mike Pence mentally sick for praying to Jesus, but Oprah is waiting for an answer from God if she should run for president. And that's okay. Did you get that? All right.
Yeah,
the Mexican
did, yeah.
economy, from Joan, the Mexican economy increasingly relies on money sent by immigrants living and working in the U.S., so much so that remittances bring more money into Mexico than crude oil exports. Wow.
You know, this wall, while it's important, I wouldn't, you know, I think it's probably a bit late in the day, because we're not that far away from having flying cars, and as soon as that starts,
you're right. I hadn't even thought about that. I had not even thought of that.
Yeah, it's gonna render all these things kind of, you know, irrelevant.
Wow, somebody better send a memo over to the White House. You better tweet him.
Yeah.
Trump said he would tax those remittances. They're called in order to pay for the wall. Okay, gotcha, John.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's one. I don't think they can ever do that, but there's some other ways that they could do it. You know, so that they could potentially exact a tax. You know, if it was $1 billion a year, it's a drop in the ocean. You know, but it would eventually get paid for.
Right.
You know, considering the differential and everything, but I mean, he could always impose a small tax with that, which would be almost, you know, negligible, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do something like that. That you know, at the end of the day, would be you know, accepted by everybody. I mean, the other thing that I always thought, I mean, you know, Trump being the negotiator he is, I thought that was his sort of stretch point, right? And that eventually they'd agree to pay for the wall 50-50, because it benefits both countries in a lot of ways. You know, Mexico has the whole problem with Mexico today is they got to handle all these immigrants who are passing through the country. That's a big problem. I mean, they used to ride on the trains, but I don't think they're allowed to do that anymore. I think they kind of fixed that problem.
When I first met my wife, well, not first met her, but we moved to Arizona, and I guess I'd had a job for a while, and we had some money, but we went down to south of Tucson. What's that? What's the port of entry there? South of Tucson. Anyway, we took a train from there to Mazatlan, and what an experience that was. I mean, we were in our early 20s at the time.
Yeah, that's the one that goes through the canyon, right?
Yeah, I don't know if somebody told me one time they didn't run that train anymore, but it was for like almost nothing. We paid for our ticket. It's like a 2-day trip or something, and you stop in all these little towns along the way, and all the people come on the train and sell you cold drinks and snacks, and it was. And then we finally got to Mazatlan, stayed in this luxurious resort that I won on a radio show here in Phoenix. They were having these giveaways, and I called in, and the guy goes, "You're the winner." And I'm like, "No way." And he goes, "Yeah, you are, really. Come to the station and get your, you know, your travel package." And that's how we got to go. So that was, but that I'll never forget. That we stood on the very back of the train around midnight. I'm talking about the James West part of the train, right? You know, the caboose. And the sky was just lit up with lightning. I'd never seen lightning like that before in my life. It wasn't raining, just this incredible lightning show. Like it was just for us. It was amazing. Yeah, I'll never forget that.
The markets that were starting to bother me here, it's breaking down here now. And the gold and silver are starting to rally, which is a big deal. I think the fact if gold and silver close up anywhere around here or higher today, we're probably going to have a pretty good week next week on the metals.
Can you see my chart?
Hold on. Yeah,
These
it's
are
very bullish.
30-minute candles. So we did all this consolidation.
Yeah.
And then in an hour, ran up to the next zone, consolidated, back down to the zone, back up to the zone. So we're going to break one way or the other, and I kind of think we might break to the upside. But
yeah, I think you're right.
I don't get into prophesying.
Yesterday was a phenomenal reversal in the metals, and I think that the surprises are on the upside now in the metals.
See, yesterday we blew out the lowest weekly trading zone. But I said on the radio, yesterday I said on the show, I said, now, even though we're below, by close of business Friday, we should be at 1312 or above based on historical observance. And here we are. doing the deal.
Yeah, this is what we're probably going to get. Just go squeeze it a bit again, like you had it a second ago.
Oh, just to yesterday, like that.
No, just the way you were looking at it. Just bring it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we've run up from 1306 to 1322, so about what, $18.
Yeah, it's $1,800 a contract.
Right. So then we gone sideways. So the next move should take us up to about 36. If we get up there and then it doesn't follow through and it starts to go down again, you might be in for one more test. It could come back down to this, it could give up that $36 and come down one test, a week from now or over the next, possibly. And then after that, it could really go. That's kind of the way I see it right now. But right now it's starting to accelerate. And
our next benchmark overhead is for this week's 1330/31. Keep that in mind Sunday night, guys, because on the Globex Open Sunday night, that'll be an important number if we hold where we are right now into the close.
Yeah. Okie doke. Well, listen, have a great weekend. Thanks for the
John, great
invite.
show. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for everything, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
Likewise. Same.
All right.
All the best.
Bye-bye now. Okay. Jones says $2.4 billion to Mexico in November 2017. Wow. In 1 month. Wouldn't you like to be Western Union or MoneyGram? Okay. However, with cryptocurrency, guess what? Not Wells Fargo. MoneyGram and the other guy I just mentioned, Western Union, they're going to be looking for work because you won't need them. You won't need a middleman. I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. Crypto, I don't get it. It eliminates the middleman. But there's more to that than the scope of this show. Oh, Joan just put up the link. Oh, I got to give you guys this link. The blockchain is going to save immigrants millions in remittance fees. I'm going to copy and paste it into the chat box. Send to all. There we go. Now let me grab that other link you gave me from the Daily Caller. Send to all. TransferWise, which has Peter Thiel and Richard Branson as investors. There's two heavy hitters. Recently announced it's integrating with Facebook's Messenger chat service. That could be a real game changer. Yep. Once upon a time there was a whole bunch of search engines. And granted, there are still a few around today. But do you ever say, let me go search for something, or let me go search engine this? You wipe your nose with Kleenex and you Google for information. We need a DLT search engine. Okay, break it down for me, Joan. DLT. Distributed ledger. Hey, that's good. What's the T for? Tech. Okay, gotcha. All right. Okay, guys, we've covered everything and then some. S&P, okay, we're back below that 2675. Potential for a late day rally? Maybe, maybe not. Just remember that based on historical observance, and that's that, nothing more, we'll close at 2675 or above. Does it ever happen that we close below? Yeah, it does. Pretty rare, but it happens. I've seen it be this far down and in the last 10 minutes go racing up. The Dow. Last night's Concierge Trade Alert, sell 24,560, 260 point drop. Now in this pullback here, you know, if you're trailing your stop, let's face it, you got taken out here, but you did good. $1,000 per contract. It actually dropped. Oh, that old saw about important prices, important areas are almost always tested. 24,543. Oh, it didn't quite make it. It tried so hard to get back to 24,560. It couldn't quite make it. I admit it. It's not a perfect science, but it's science. The Russell, sell 1502, buy 1512. Obviously, you can't buy 1512 on a 30-minute chart and put your stop way down here. You got to go to a 5-minute chart or the 4-tick range and pick your entry. And if there isn't a reasonable entry that allows you to risk $300 or less per contract, you'll walk away. The NQ, I don't guess I never looked at the NQ today. Let's do that real quick before I go. NQ last night, we said consider selling 67.45. Okay. $67.45. So from $67.45, we dropped down to $66.60. So that's a $2,000 per contract move. Important prices, important areas. Just might take another ride. 67.45, 66.60. 100 points is $2,000. I guess it's, okay, maybe I overshot that. It's just shy of $2,000, give or take. No, because this low is at 66.45. It's exactly 100 points. 99, okay. So just shy of $2,000. No, I'm sorry, Jim. That was DLT. As in distributed. Okay. Gold. We just talked about that. Bonds. Soybeans. To the moon. Oh, and the only thing we didn't look at was crude, which we can do very swiftly. Again, this morning in the live trading room, I said at 60.60, I said, guys, it looks like crude's going to make a run for 61. If you jumped on board at that point in about 20 minutes, took us right up to 61, overshot it, and then I said, pull back to confirm good support. And so far, so what happens? How does that work? Oh, there's my guy. He's been sick. Okay, I'll get with you in just a second. I guess he doesn't realize the whole world can see that. Anyway, doesn't matter. Nice guy. Part of our team is in Pakistan. Part of our team's in Venezuela. The global village. My, how it shrunk. Now, what was the deal on crude last night? Consider selling 60.90. Okay. That looked a little something like this. So 60.90, and it went down to 60. almost a 60-10. So that's about a $700 per contract move. That's if you wrote it all the way down, but you probably didn't. Let's be realistic. Okay, when it pulled back up, maybe you got stopped out, maybe you took another ride, got part of it. It wasn't until this move here, okay, that you had a pretty smooth ride down to the bottom. That's okay. You can take bits and pieces, and then when it lets you, take it all. Okie doke. Well, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. Thank you all for holding the fort down while I was out, sick, under the weather, less than 100%. I'm serious, I was almost comatose for 2 days. I would roll over so my wife could take my temperature and then roll back over. That was it. What do you think short ES is, Dwayne? Well, Brian, last night's Concierge Trade Alert said to consider being short 26.63. So that stands. And last night's long was 26.93. But I was able to trim that now because it's in real time. I'm not having to project into the future. So those numbers stand, and they stand right up to the closing bell. All right, guys. Now, if I can corner Michael, and that's like herding cats. If you ever tried herding cats, but it's difficult. If I can corner Michael and get him to commit to a meeting this afternoon, I'm going to email everybody who participated in the Christian Traders CT Global pre-sale. I'm going to give you advance notice. We're going to have a go-to meeting. We will video the go-to meeting. And if you're unable to attend, no worries. You'll be able to view the video after the fact. Okay? But my closing statement, if you participated in the pre-sale, won't you please, pretty please, send us my Ether wallet address so that we can deposit your CTG tokens, because if God willing, we'll be trading on the open exchange this weekend. And I'll fill you in on Monday. Love you much. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, it's the weekend, so CFRN law dictates that you must spend some quality time with your family. And of course, I will see you all in church on Sunday. Yeah? Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.